butt plugs.
Speaking of leaving people on red.
Oh, did you hate that? Welcome to all of you in YouTube land. Monday/Tuesday, Amigos and Co. Welcome to Chris Vandal, who likes to leave people on red in his message inbox, and Steve Legion, who likes to leave. I don't know what he likes. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Butt plugs. Yeah, you can leave your butt plug unread. That's right.
Yes.
But I do want to start off the show is when I ask a couple things. The default answer from you, Legion, is always butt plug, and
What's the question?
welcome to everybody in chat. We'll just leave that one go. Chris Vandal's here. Hi, Chris Vandal. The Birdman is here. Taters, what's that? Hashtag Taters. David Lloyd is here. Hello, David Lloyd. Speaking Italian, is that Italian? Amigos and Co. here. Shannon Brown's here. Neil Pitt's here. The Great Wombatsky is here. Billy is here. Hi, Billy.
Yes.
And
nice to see you.
Ern is here. Yep, butt plugs. That's right. You definitely joined at the right time.
That's what she said.
That's right. This show is obviously not for minors. We're adults. We like flavors and potentially even
Butt plug flavors.
Flavored butt plugs.
That's right. Yep.
I would rather have flavored butt plugs than butt plug flavored e-liquid. What?
Depends on the milligram.
18 milligram.
18 milligram. Yep. Nice. Have I asked you this both before? Have either of you tried synthetic nicotine? Have I asked that? I have asked.
You haven't asked, and the answer is no.
Yeah. Would you?
I'd give it a shot if I could be convinced of its provenance. If it was clean and all that stuff, yeah, I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
The only one I've tried, it tasted like butthole, but it was also, I don't know how old it was. It was like from the box of the boss that was like sitting in there from samples from forever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't have the best like reference on that. But yeah, I'll try it. I know a lot of companies for sure are switching over to synthetic nicotine to try and avoid the tax, but that's not going to happen now because they're actually including synthetics into the taxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll try it. Would I like it?
Yeah. I know nothing about it, and I guess we're just going to keep rolling with it. I don't know. Does it need to be stabilized, like in a freezer? Can we import it into Australia? I guess there's a lot of things that I have to ask about. Ern is saying he's had synthetic nicotine and it tasted completely normal. That's very interesting.
I would assume, we would talk about bringing it into Australia, I would assume that in most cases, I mean, the wording doesn't say organic or nicotine derived from tobacco leaves or anything. It just says nicotine. So it doesn't really matter how it's made or where it comes from. It's still nicotine. It's still going to fall into that law. Just like, about 2 months ago, everyone was going, yeah, okay, so the laws are passing. And all the companies will just jump over to synthetic nicotine. It's a loophole. We'll bypass it. And I was watching people.
That loophole.
I was watching people talk about that. It's like, set your watch. The moment you said it, they started scribbling in little addendums to cover it. Like it was guaranteed. There was no way that was ever going to pass. It's kind of like them making laws about alcohol not being accessible to kids, and then leaving like one product on the bottom shelf at the supermarket the kids are allowed to buy. It's not going to happen. They're going to cover all their loopholes.
But they're calling it synthetic nicotine because it's meant to replicate nicotine. So
Well, but it is nicotine.
Yeah,
it is not replicating nicotine. It is nicotine. Just like you can go to the lake and you can scoop up, and that's water. It's H2O, and it has like contaminants and stuff because it's lake water. Or you can go to a lab and you can take the time and effort to actually create H2O. It's a lot of effort, a lot of work, but you can create 100% pure, no adulterants, no contaminants, but it's still H2O. When you actually look at the chemical construction, they're the same thing. And so here we're looking
not derived directly from tobacco sources.
Yeah. I'd try it. I would, but I'm also one of those people that I don't have adverse reactions to regular nicotine versus salt nic like a lot of people do. So I don't think I'd have any issue with it. But I'm just really interested in it. I mean, Billy is saying there, I believe Five Pawns makes their e-liquid with synthetic nic, have been for quite a while. I've kind of heard those mutterings as well. Ern's saying there on a molecular level, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, and Billy as well. It's exactly what I was saying. It is still nicotine. It's just how we get to it, know.
Yep.
I know for a while there was this company, and I wish I remembered the name, because they were super fucking annoying. But this was back before, that pandemic hit, and they were like, they were right, because like this is how it was coming to the United States, but they made their nicotine mix from a bunch of plants that weren't tobacco plants and stuff like that. And then I can't remember the name of the company, and I don't know where they went or anything like that, but they were really annoying about it, and I think that's what pushed people, well, at least in my opinion, pushed a lot of people away from it, is because they would message like, some of the work pages I work for, right? And they would be like, oh, you need you should try our synthetic nicotine. And of course, we weren't, and this was a couple of years ago, so it's like we weren't interested, you know what I mean, at the time, and all that stuff, and synthetics, like there was all that stuff. And then they're like, well, then when your business shuts down and you don't have anything to sell, you'll understand why you should have tried us. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah, you're a piece of shit. But it's like some guy, he was outspoken all the time. He'd be on like Instagram comments or Facebook pages like, oh, this is the future. You guys are all fucking stuck. And like, like bitter about the fact that nobody wanted to touch his weird mix.
I seem to remember that. And the entire push, even on the public face, was like, it doesn't come from tobacco. We're not attached to the tobacco industry. They're horrible. They're evil. We're vaping. We're better. We should be as separate from them as possible. And I watch that. It's like, it's just a freaking plant. Farmers are just farmers. If you want to attack tobacco industries, that's the retailers. It's got nothing to do with the plant or anything, or what it's derived from. It's just sort of a ridiculous argument. And I think that pushed a lot of people away as well, just because it was just silly.
It definitely made me sour about it, because I had to deal with it, managing 8 pages and 9 pages and not knowing that he's talking to the same fucking person every time, and just hearing the same bullshit over and over. So I know that pushed a lot of people away. And then also there's with food and anything else, anything that's GMO or modified in any way, everyone's super standoffish. And then, like, real fact, I'm not going to do research for you. Look into GMOs. Some of them are actually way better for, the environment and for plants and for your health.
Yeah. With the GMO thing, I can understand the argument about seeds that don't propagate. Like, you have to buy them from a company every year, no matter what. It's planned obsolescence, that kind of control. I can understand those arguments. But in terms of improving a plant's ability to survive, to be resistant to funguses and insects, to grow in harsh conditions, it's a golden rice, I think, is one of the first big GMO crops. It's just has the potential to save lives around the world. There's nothing wrong with GMO. GMO is what we as people have been doing to food since we started making food rather than finding food.
Yeah, everyone doesn't realize that. Like bananas and apples that you see nowadays aren't the ones they ate 100 years ago. They were seeds and
bananas didn't exist.
No, they were giant fucking seeds in them.
Yeah. The moment that we started, gathering our own animals, and we looked at them and said, those two are nice and fat. Fat animals have more meat. Let's breed the fat ones together and just kill the skinny ones. And let's do that again. Let's do that again and again and again until they get really, really fat, because we like our fat pigs and our fat cows. Boom, GMO right there. That's just old school way of doing it. But that's what we as people do. We look at things and we guide them and we try to improve them for our path.
I've never heard of golden rice. That's out of control. Never even heard of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's an amazing thing. Like, grows just about in most any conditions. Has the ability to feed thousands and millions around the world.
And it's like Ern said in the chat, we would have 0 crops if not for GMO. Almost everything has been modified the same way in some way already. Yeah. That's why your dogs are so cute. That's why your animals are cute. You know what I mean? We chose the cute ones and bred them together, and that's how you get more cute dogs. There's no such thing
not
as
only that. That's not just why you have. That's not just why you have cute dogs. That's why you have dogs. Yeah. I mean, cats. A little bit of a different story, but dogs don't exist. They're not a thing. We invented them. We found the nicest, cutest wolves that wouldn't tear our throats open and let them stick around, and then bred them. And bred them some more. And eventually we got really weird with it. It was like, let's breed some that have
bugs.
let's breed ones that have really short legs with really short legs to see how close we get their bellies to the floor. Let's squish their little skulls till their noses are up here.
Yeah,
I mean,
pugs are walking in pain every day of their life. Please stop doing this to pugs.
I was going to say, you're basically describing how I was conceived, so thank you very much.
Oh, wow. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yes. I also didn't know that about broccoli. Apparently broccoli is like that too. But
almost everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's your broccoli, your cauliflower, your tomatoes, your apples, almost everything that your grains.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go back and you try and find a 3,000-year-old Egyptian recipe for beer, they've got a whole bunch of these. They found the old recipes. And you try to make that. You can't actually make it unless you find like a seed library and cultivate some of those grains back in, because they're not the same. We've gradually refined and changed the wheats, the barleys, the rye, all that sort of stuff over like thousands of years now. And what we took, like you compare to the bread that we have and all that sort of stuff, it's just very, very different.
Yeah. I actually, those are called ancient grains, aren't they? Ancient grains.
Yeah. But even the ones that are sold now as ancient grains, they're not, heirloom grain, ancient grain. They're not quite the same. Like a lot of these species are gone, unless you can find, like occasionally they'll find, and it sounds really weird, it's kind of gross, but every now and then they'll find like a Neanderthal, and they go digging through their stomach and they find the seeds and they get really excited, because they have to package them up and send them off to Sweden, where someone will deconstruct them and pull out. They pull out the DNA, and they add it to like modern grains, and then they'll grow a little private field. This is what pisses me off about anti-GMO people. Side note there, but they grow this little field and sort of recreate that thing. But what pisses me off is where I used to live. They had some GMO test fields. It was for the university, and the people that were anti-GMO went in there and they were all angry and they tore it all up and threw it around everywhere and just destroyed the fields and left. And the thing is, these fields were like concrete encased underground, right? It was a concrete box that was placed in the ground and then a field placed in it, and they would grow these crops. And around there's a big fence, and then there's like a 10-meter gap and another fence, so that nothing in that field could get out.
Yeah.
This is how it was. They knocked down the fence, they tore these things up, they threw all the seeds to the wind, and they run away. And I'm like, because there's not enough research. It's like, but that's what they're doing. They don't take enough care. Well, they were until you came along and threw it into the ecosphere.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ern is saying, there's a facility that has a seed like that for every plant in the world. I'm pretty sure it's Norway or Finland or one of the Scandi countries. Yeah,
Scandinavia somewhere. The seed barn.
But didn't it?
The apocalypse bunker, but it's getting too hot for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
half
climate.
Yeah. The seed bank, because that was a big thing in coffee a few years ago as well, because they're far north Sweden, somewhere like that. Where is it? But I'm pretty sure it flooded. Yeah. Yeah,
they're having problems with the climate change and stuff with it, because it was supposed to be like a dry, arid, really cold place with like snow and stuff around it, and because it goes into like the side of a mountainside or something like that. And
it's Norway.
Because of global warming, it flooded, and then they're having issues now where they might not be able to keep everything there.
Yeah, the Doomsday Vault.
Yes.
It's in Norway. Interesting. Yeah, we should go. That sounds like a cool place, because maybe they got some the cannabis.
I got that here.
See, my whole plan is when the end of days come, I'm just going to start heading there. When I get there, I'm just going to throw all the seeds out.
Yeah.
Move in, close the door, set up a PlayStation, ride it out.
Interesting.
Can you imagine? There's like a bunker somewhere else with all the big wigs, and they're like, okay, apocalypse is over, let's go get the seeds, start planting. And they turn up and all the seeds are just rotting around the front.
Yeah.
And there's me with like massive beard, curly toenails, laughing and playing my PlayStation.
Where are all the seeds? I only kept the corn because I wanted to make popcorn. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Slight tangent. I know, Steve, you've only just received that new device, but do you want to talk about that device? Because you're the only person I know that has one currently in the world. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's a weird thing. Like normally my mail turns up around 9:30, and I'm kind of listening out for it. They'll knock at the door, and I do my run over and thing. And Monday, no knock, nothing, and I was just like, oh, I guess got no mail today. Oh well, whatever. And about 10:30, I'm like, it's a bit sweaty. I open the door, look down, there's a parcel. What the hell's that? I walked over here and I saw the tape. It was Vandy Vape. I'm like, is it? Is it? Is it really? Is it really? Is that what it is? The best part of it is I had just spent the night or a couple of nights before explaining to the wife, who doesn't care. She vapes, but she doesn't care. She cares about people. She cares about the existence. She's glad that it's there, but she doesn't care about stuff. She doesn't. I do all this stuff. She doesn't care about what things are, how they work. So I had to explain to her what a billet box was, why they were so expensive, all the different things that you could get, what this meant, why I was so excited about it, why I felt that it would be important to have at least one of this type in my arsenal, and why I would actually have to put down the money to buy one if they don't send me one.
Yeah.
So, and then immediately afterwards, this turns up. And of course, I was in the middle of filming a review, which I finished in record time. I didn't rush through it, but I opened it up, looked at it, and went, that's awesome. Let's finish my work first. And I'm like, looking at it, finishing, typing, export. Okay, now what the fuck is going on with this? Yeah, it's billet boxy. Let me do this.
Well, I'm also interested because you've never had one of those before, so that's.
I've had all-in-ones.
Yeah.
Of a similar variety. There's been a few of them. Everything you'll see various reviews. I always start with it's the poor man's billet box. It's basically a battery, a screen, a button, and something similar to the Boro style. But the ones that I've tried, they're not compatible. And the deck's always been a little bit different. They're not quite the same as the full Boro deck or bridge. Yeah, it's been interesting though. I actually really, really enjoy it. I would like a little bit more airflow, and I think that partially comes from there's a lot of airflow coming in. I've got that wide open. I think a lot of it's to do with that.
What is that?
Well, that's the 510 grub nut that goes in the top.
So you're not getting airflow, you said?
I am. I'm getting a decent restricted. I'd like to be able to try this with a lower resistance. I put a 0.45 in here, and it's working okay. Nice restricted direct lung. If I put something lower, I'm feeling that may be just a little bit too restricted for it, but we'll have to give it a try. But I think, it's just a little bit narrow there. But of course, every bridge that you put in here is going to be a bit different too. That's kind of exciting too, because up to now, I have had no way to test or use bridges. There's no device that I have that takes them. Now at least I've got one that I can pull this out. I can try it with it. And I've got the, just over here, grab the box. Where is it? Yeah,
And you got, awesome. I was just about to ask. You got both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't given this one a go yet, but so
with your tip that you put in though, does it have two gaskets on it or just one?
Two.
I don't know if it would really help too much, but if you remove one, it might give you a little bit more airflow. Because it'll give you more space to build up, you think?
No,
it's just gonna make it a bit looser, a little easier to get it out.
Show us the side where the actual airflow slots are. See those are bigger. Yeah. That's bigger than billet box. So that's just the vape, man. That's just the
plenty of airflow there.
Yeah.
Like I said, most of it is like I said, you can just see the slot there.
Yeah.
And that's wide open. You can turn it and close it down.
Yeah.
And so it mostly, like I said, it's the airflow, same as in any other device. It's not the device itself. It's the tank section. The airflow in and just the airflow out is a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm going to give it a try with low resistance coils. after I'm done with this build, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
I also discovered something interesting. There is definitely a way around for the deck and the chimney section. There's a right way and the wrong way. It's not marked, but there's definitely a right way to wrong way, because I put it together, I built it, I used it for half the day. I've been using this a lot, like pretty much primarily been using this the last day. And there was just a little bit of seepage all the way around. I pulled it out, took a look at the wicking. It's fine. There's no issues. And I put it back and I flipped it over. So the inside, this section,
Yep.
could have just flipped this, couldn't I? That
Well,
would have been
you're always going to have a little bit of condensation slash. It's just the nature of those devices. I'm pretty sure that the only way to not get it is to vape it at very low wattage and have a lot of wicking in there. Yeah.
But like I said, when I flipped the deck to the chimney, just the other way around, it seemed to fit a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it hasn't seeped or anything since.
That piece that's basically your AFC underneath the pin there. Can you run that without it?
That no. Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it probably won't add any more air, but
underneath there is a 510.
Yeah.
So you can screw it onto something and build on it.
Yep.
And to do that whole black part, it just unscrews. It just comes right off. So you unscrew that, put it on a builder or a box or whatever, build, put that back on. So yeah, I'm sure you could probably just pop that in there without it if you wanted to.
Yep. And you were saying, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, however, I mean, the size of that hole, there's one on either side.
Yep.
The size of the airflow hole on the black plastic is pretty much the same as the size of the hole on the 510 pin. So I don't think it would really. Yep. It's not gonna offer any more airflow.
No. And Steve was saying on the pre-show that he's put in a triple 30-40. Is that right? 30-40.
3 times 30-40. Yes, Nichrome.
Yep. 2.5.
Yeah, it was 2.5.
Yeah. There you go. Just for the builders and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, crazy. Because we've been discussing with a few of the peeps. You fit a big rowdy 3mm ID in there for shiz, and awesome with a 21-700, and just have a rowdy box. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've been using this pretty much since around 9:30, 10 yesterday, somewhere around that. Oh no, 10:30, and I've been using it nonstop. Other things I've got, but mostly going to this, and I've gone through one battery. You saw me get up and change batteries just before we started. That was the first battery change. So, been using it all morning, all night, using it in my sleep, using it in the shower.
We have a very important question in chat. What about the butthole flow? Yeah.
Not even going there.
I'm shocked. It didn't go there. Didn't even offer an answer.
The one time.
Yeah.
That's because my mind just not quick enough.
Interesting.
I will say I'm really excited. Obey Robot just launched this past week, and they have a ton of billet box accessories, doors, buttons, and stuff. I want to see if they're going to come out with stuff for this. Surely,
Brent will. Yep.
I mean, because they got some really nice things. Really nice. I've looked at the shop, and a lot of it's like, I don't have a billet box. I can't use any of that. But it would be nice to swap out the doors and stuff.
Yeah.
What is the price point on that thing?
Sub $100 is what they're saying.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's
my wife has one complaint about it. Of course, as all things, I put it in her hands to see what she thinks. I got not the black, but the frosted black, so you can see through a little bit. And she just likes that it's fuzzy. I did this, and she said, "Yeah, but I still don't like that it's fuzzy."
Okay.
Can't keep everyone happy.
No. Yeah, but it looks nice. Well, I'm glad. Also, good luck not going down the rabbit hole with those kind of devices, because it ruins everybody. Yeah, nice. Awesome.
I have too many rabbit holes. I don't have enough arms left for other rabbit holes. Assuming that you put your arms in the rabbit holes.
The rabbit hole I've been going down is my wife very kindly reinstated Disney Plus here at home, and I've watched. It's become my new YouTube because I'm sick of YouTube, so I'm just watching anything and everything on Disney Plus right now. That's my rabbit hole. I'm not even looking at the titles. I'm just pressing play, and it's been really good.
The Cat from Outer Space.
The Cat from Outer Space.
Yes.
I have to write that.
That is a classic movie. It's Herbie era.
Oh, nice!
Like way back then.
Nice. Awesome.
Do you get all the Marvel stuff too in Australia? I know it's different by location.
Oh yeah, we get all the Marvel stuff.
Is Disney Plus?
Why do you think we have Disney Plus? It's really the only selling point.
Yeah.
I know that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Is that what you call it? Geo-locked, or is that the term?
Yeah. So certain locations, like my friend in Canada, Geekus, he gets like the Deadpool movies on his Disney Plus, but we don't get it here in the States.
Cheeky.
Ah.
Is it on
so
any
I was
other?
Curious.
Yeah. Is it on any other?
Yeah, it's on other ones here in the States. I think it's on I think Netflix maybe one of them is, or something like that, and Amazon Prime.
I predict a day is going to come very, very soon, probably in the next 5 years, where geo-locking will get dropped because it just won't. It won't matter.
Yeah.
Prior
and
to
you can VPN it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's always that, but prior to streaming, different companies, different parts of the world would license. So you have a studio that own all these movies, and they would license this movie to that company in that area, but this other company in this area, et cetera, all around the world. So in order to protect those, we have geo-locking and all that sort of stuff. So when Netflix came around and were the first big streamer, they would have different licensing for different things. Like they would license a movie, they could show it in the States, but when it came to Australia, a TV network here already has the rights to that, so they can't show it here. They couldn't get that licensing, right? And they get different things for the UK, and it's a very complicated bag of what they own depending what part of the world. And now we looking at them consolidating. Streaming has grown. There's so many more streaming networks. People, or not people, but the IP holders themselves are not content with letting Netflix own everything.
Yeah.
There was Netflix and there was a couple other competitors, and they're doing their own thing, like Marvel and Paramount and all that stuff. And so they're going to hold on to their stuff. This is why Marvel no longer have Netflix no longer have the Marvel shows. Yeah. Is because Marvel and consequently Disney started pulling back their licenses. Each one reaches its term limit, they don't renew or put it back on the market. They keep it to themselves with the plan
I'm waiting for. Yeah. Is for them to have everything, because it's smart, especially with like companies as big as Disney and Marvel is now. Like it's great not to have to jump platforms, to watch to continue the story.
Can I tell you? I got, on a side note from that, like I said, eventually you'll have all these services that have everything that's under their umbrella. Well, it's going to make sense. But we watch on the TV. I watch mostly at my computer. But stuff that we watch as a family or with my wife or watch on the TV. We had an older Chromecast. It works really well. I get the streaming app on my phone. I find the show I want. I cast. We watch the show. I pick up my phone, pause or whatever, go to the next one. We got the new Chromecast. It was actually wasn't that much. It was pretty cheap. And it comes with a remote. And it's got the Android TV interface. So when you plug it in, you just give yourself an hour and look up your passwords, because you plug in, it has plugins for Netflix and for Disney TV, and all the different streaming services, depending where you are in the world. You log into them, and then you have this major front screen where it says continue, and it's all the shows that you've been watching on all the different networks.
And it's got platform.
All in one meta platform. Yeah. It's got search right across all the things you're logged into. So you never actually, when you're sitting there, you almost never have to go into one of the different all the way into that
jailbroken Fire Stick here in the States. Like you can get those out here, and it basically lets you watch whatever you want, however you want. Yeah.
It's actually been really good. You guys know I've been watching the Arrowverse. I'm pretty much caught up, but then I went back to the beginning and started watching with the wife. And Arrowverse in Australia, because of stupid stuff, there's like 5 or 6 shows, 7 shows now on 4 different streaming platforms. But now we just jump from one to the other. They're all there in one place.
Yeah.
Makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Also, you don't have to remember what stupid thing it was on. Like, was that on Stan or Binge? Could have sworn it was. Well, maybe it was Netflix. Open that one, look for it. Open this one, look for it. Just look it up and find it.
I know somebody. This is from a few years ago. Somebody that had a box, and it was made in somebody's garage. It was basically a digital box, and you would connect it to the net, and then it would just go to like anything and everything that was on the net. So quite often it would be like say the real film or the real movie or whatever, and then you'd go to flick to another one, and it's actually a recording of someone sitting in the cinema. And recording it, and you'd see people get up and walk away, or you could hear the crinkle of, potato chips in the side. I was like, I can't believe this, and you can watch this, and he's like, yeah, well, why not? And I was like, because you're watching somebody watching it.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
movie.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was big on pirating stuff, and back when this is before you. I mean, I started before you could burn CDs or DVDs. You would download it, and it would come in 2 or 3 files across like CDs, and then you'd mount them with software. And so many bad rips. Like some of them would be screeners, which is like screeners. You could tell they were like they're sent out for rating, or they're sent out as promo within the industry. And so they've got big lines on the bottom that's saying, do not copy, do not distribute, or whatever. You just kind of ignore that while you're watching it. And the other ones would be exactly what you're saying. Like the screen is like on an angle because they're off to the side. And there's a head bobbing here.
Yeah.
And
you hear a
When
cough.
I was overseas, we had the bazaar or whatever, and like whenever a movie came out in the States, the next day it was there, and it was all from a bag in a movie theater somewhere. So, like, I remember, like, the Avengers or whatever came out when I was overseas, and, like, the next day I went to the bazaar, and I was like, all right, it's, like, $1, so I bought it. And it was, like, in some guy's, like, backpack or whatever, and, like, this is what it looked like, through it, and, like, I'm the movie, and it's, like, Captain America kicking someone's ass, but, like, it's, like, it looks like that, from, like, a bag, and all fucked up. And, like, the Fast and the Furious movies, like, I bought them, and it was like, oh, yeah, Fast and Furious, and I'm English, blah, blah, blah. Start watching it, it's fucking Portuguese. But you still watch it. Like,
so many movies I watched that I had no idea what was going on. It's like, not just because the language was wrong or whatever, but just because, what is that blurry, blobby thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a girl giving head in the front row. Okay, look past her. The fuck is that?
Speaking of some stuff, I did notice, Steve, that you've recently started using the long exposure stuff for your photos. I wanted to bring that up. At least a little bit longer exposure with like the backgrounds.
Yeah.
And noticing like a lot of people are starting to do that now and stuff. And like because of Adam recently getting into photography and stuff, I send him like cheesy shit all the time. I feel like when you're like your mom finds out you have a hobby, it's like, oh, this is neat. Take a look at it, So I send him stuff all the time. Yeah. But I want to know, like, are you exploring more with photography stuff and all that? I know, like, you do it for more of like your bumpers or like your stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that I used to do it for a living, et cetera, all that stuff. And I've played around with a bunch of stuff. I just, every now and then I get bored and I see something and I go, oh yeah, I haven't done that in ages. And then all my thumbnails will have that for ages. Like you'll have like a week, you'll have a week and a half of like long exposure, and then I'll get bored of it again. I'll move on to something else. And it's kind of like my softboxes and my strobes. Like, for 2 years straight, all my pictures were posed, well lit, softboxes, or high speed photography. And then I got bored with that and I put them away and I just started just taking random snaps. And then I got bored with that. And now I'm playing around with lights. I don't know, it's fun. I've been using that light that I have there, which can do some color shifting stuff, but it's got a lot of cool features in it. It's a great light, but it's not really the right light for that. And I've got some, I got some like ornament lights that make nice yellow streaks if you shake them around a bit. But yeah, I've been kind of looking at light ones.
Those are cool.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Today I got to get into some food stuff because like back in the day, you know, a lot of people, like when I first started working for like anarchists and like vapor treats and stuff like that, we would do food stuff, and then we stopped for a long time, you know, because like it kind of became overplayed and like, you know, just the evolution of photography and stuff like that. But today we have an international client that we manufacture for, and I got to mess around with some custards and strawberries and shit like that.
Nice.
And I got to actually do like the first, I not my first ever, but like serious like for work, top down photography of a tabletop and stuff like that. So I did some stuff with like some you know, food and shit like that. So it's just cool to see people mixing it up. You know what I mean? Instead of like the same old fucking thing over and over.
There's I've lost the word for it in my head, but there's a technique that was pioneered for movies actually a long time ago, and it's basically using giant fish tanks. Just use giant fish tanks.
I use a fish tank at work.
You have to be really careful with the lighting, especially when you're using strobes, to be careful of reflections and stuff. But yeah, finger LEDs, that's a good idea. Keep that in mind. But yeah, you fill the tank with water and then you start pouring shit. I mean, there is the standard stuff where you just like carefully drop something into it and try and take the picture at the right time. Yeah. There is gear you can buy that basically shines a little unseeable laser, and as soon as it hits it, it takes a picture, which is great because it means that you can have those, you know, a white background, you have the crazy water. They're awesome things. They're basically it's trigger. And they're great because, you know, you set the trigger for the center of your frame, and as soon as your object hits that point, it takes the picture, which is much preferable to standing there on the side with a remote and dropping and trying to.
Yep.
And you have like 50 pictures of it half in, up here, down there, just trying to.
All the time I have like, it's not the same as the fish tank, but the action shots without the right equipment suck because like I'd sit there for like, I had my coworker Dustin out there for like 3 hours one day, like, all right, drop it. All right, drop it. All right, drop it. All right, drop it. And like the picture's right here. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here.
Yeah. I think the one that I've seen that's really good is called MIOPS, MIOPS. And it can be used for a lot of things. And one of them is that. The other one is sound. So you can have like, when the sound hits, it takes a picture, all that sort of stuff. Those are really cool, but I'm kind of out of my budget right now.
I was just about to say that they sound expensive.
They're fairly expensive.
Yeah.
But the fish tank thing that's really cool is when you start pouring shit into the water.
Mm-hmm.
So you put water in and you put some blue food dye in it. And then you mix up a can of oil and red food dye, and you pour it in and you start taking pictures at the same time, because as it comes in, it will separate and it will sparkle, but it won't mix. And then you go away, have your lunch, and now you've got a tank that's one color on the top, another color on the bottom, and they've separated. You grab a can of milk and you start pouring the milk and just splashing milk in there, and it comes through. And I know this sounds really weird, but if you're looking at abstract photography, when you take those and you flip them around so they look like they're like growing.
Yeah.
Some weird shit. I used to do so much of that. My office my downstairs office used to stink like milk all the time.
Crazy. Should we did you want to talk about the TGA thing that you saw just before? Because I think that's kind of interesting.
I will. Just give me 1 second. The camera trigger that we were talking about is $289.
Well, that's not bad. It's not crazy.
Let me just drop that. If anyone's interested, there it is. Hey, it's 40% off right now.
There you go.
$199.
Is that nice?
Yeah.
Nice.
I used to be obsessed with the.
Yeah, look at that. That's out of control.
Yeah. You know how you take like a really nice, clean, proper, professional shot, fully detailed, nice and crisp on a white background? I used to be fully obsessed with the idea of doing that, but in a tank of water in front of it. So you drop like
Yeah.
oranges in there, and you angle it so that yes, you got a little bit of the splash thing, but if you turn it around, and so if you're careful and you blend properly, you can actually drop oranges in one way, and you can drop a bottle of orange juice the other way. Flip it around, you can have that bottle of orange juice sort of sitting with water coming up the side, and then oranges shooting up from the bottom in the same angle.
Yeah.
So it's falling this way, and the oranges are going that way. Like, yeah, this is what I used to do professionally, was like ad stuff. That's what I was into.
Yeah.
Commercial.
Yeah, all the stuff I do now is just shit. It's just absolute shit. We will talk a little bit about the TGA and stuff. This is a bit of a story, a bit of an ongoing thing. I was on a Facebook group yesterday. Actually, it wasn't on the group. I was just scrolling through something past my vision, and it was someone asking in Australia, has anyone managed to get their nicotine in without a prescription? Has it been stopped? Has there been any issues? And there's a whole bunch of different things under there. Most of it was fairly positive in terms of don't do that, get yourself a script, go to quick clinics, all that sort of stuff. All the things that we kind of want to hear, basically advising this person to look after themselves, take care. And there was one person in there that basically said, nah, just order it. What's the worst that can happen? That was their line. And my answer to that was, well, they could get up to a $20,000 fine. To which they said, not going to happen, mate. So I went to the TGA.
Let them know what happened.
And I found the link, and it said, well, here's one, $7,000.
Yeah.
Individual, not a company, personal importation within the last week or so. And he's like, yeah, they can say that, but blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, fine, you do whatever you want. But for the rest of you, cover your ass, get a script. We don't agree with it. We don't like it. We don't want it. But cover your ass, because I don't want to see anyone get fined. And he's like, oh, I've got a script, mate. Like, then why are you telling someone else to just go ahead and take the risk with their livelihood, potential felony, potential jail time, potential fine, all this stuff? You've got a script, you're fine. Why are you giving advice to someone to bust the law? So again,
This is why you don't take advice from random people in Facebook groups, people.
yes, because
Yeah, but I read it. It's got to be true.
yeah.
Jill
But
down the street said it's okay.
Yeah.
glancing at the TGA's media releases over the last couple of weeks, there are 5 different articles here. 3 of them are corporate, like businesses. 2 of them are individuals. The one that just came out today is a fine for $93,000 and change for advertised nicotine products. One came out a couple of days ago, was $106 and change for advertising breaches of nicotine products. Third company, they didn't do so bad. They only got $39,000 fine for advertising nicotine products. And then 2 individuals, an 18 and change and a $7,000 and change for importation or breaches in relation to nicotine vaping products. Individuals, not companies. So I was wondering, I was been waiting to see the evidence of this, to how this would fall. Are they going to go after companies? Are they going to go after importers? These people, I don't know if they brought in their own personal amount or if they were caught with a box of multiple shitty disposables.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I would
clearly that's one fine is $7,000, the other one is almost double that. Clearly there's the
By
grading
piece,
system.
probably.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
the grading system on how what's that penalties list
Yes.
of what they're doing is that's substantial.
And depending on how your guys' laws are set up, you could probably, if you had enough bottles, you could probably get hit with some kind of a trafficking charge of a controlled substance.
I think yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I think as much as we want to bitch about the TGA, I don't think they're complete assholes. I don't think they're looking at fucking us over just because they can. This isn't the pot wars of the 70s. When you look at the different fines and the levels that they've got, clearly marketing and actual distribution is the issue that they're most concerned about. The fines are much higher. The consequences are much higher. If you're just bringing it in for yourself, it's $7,000. That's a fair bit lower.
Yeah.
That said, just wanted to kind of reiterate that point. If you are in Australia, get a script. If you have friends that are dodgy about it, don't let them. Like be an asshole to your friends. This is the weirdest thing in our world that I think good friends are the ones that tell you when you're about to fuck up. They point out the hole you're about to fall in. Most people don't want to hear it, but you got to do it because otherwise you're not being a good friend.
You think you're going to sacrifice your friend? Like you're going to tell them to do something that's going to keep them out of trouble and save them a bunch of money? Or would you rather be the friend that sit there, watch them fuck up, and then listen to them complain about how they got the repercussions from fucking up? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, $100 is a lot of money to me, let alone a $7,000 fine and potential, record. It's not
for
that
some
hard.
strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, right.
I've seen people
Pink
go.
lemonade.
I've seen people say, "I can't afford a script. It's $85. I can't afford a script." It's like if you can't afford a script, you can't afford to vape. If you can't afford to vape, you definitely can't afford to smoke.
And don't
Set
say
your
that you can't
priorities
afford-
right.
Yeah. Don't say you can't afford a script and then do a hand check of a mod that costs $85 the next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, or a $7,000 fine. Yeah, here's my hand check. Here's my.
Yeah. You could have bought 1.5 purge mods for that fine.
Yeah.
Look. If you can't afford a script, that's fine. You have your favorite e-liquids. You're ordering them in from New Zealand. You want to just try and fly without a script. Don't do it. Buy some shitty juice. Just one order of some cheap juice, just to keep you going. You get your script. You get the cheap juice. Script lasts for a year. You've only got to last 3 months or so, and you do your next order with some better juice. You prioritize things, and sometimes we have to do that. It's much better to vape some less flavorful or less fancy or not as impressive in a hand check bottles of e-liquid than to have a fine.
Have some and instead of without,
Yeah. I mean, we've been, so when was that? October 1? I mean, we're almost 2 months into it now. And to be completely honest, I'm shocked that you're only saying to consumers, Steve, from a lot of the stuff I've seen on the social medias of people, still not knowing about it or still asking questions about it. I'm actually very, very surprised. But this is the scenario. Is it that the Border Patrol is not getting the packages, and or are they not doing anything, or is it the fact that people are actually doing the right thing and not trying to order?
I think we're talking about a combination of things. 2 months sounds like a long time in the world of what's going on in the world, especially post-COVID times. 2 months seems like a long time. But let's be clear, most people in Australia don't order every week. They might order their e-liquid every week. They might order vapes from stores. But when it comes to nicotine, a great percentage of them just order a bottle of straight nicotine, goes in the freezer, and they order 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
If that. So it's going to take a long time for all of those to catch up to the point where they need to do the next order. People who are ordering ready to vape, 2 months. You might do a 2 or 3 month order. Last you for a while. You do it 3-4 times a year again. It's coming up to time for all those people, and that's why I'm starting to see a bit more hitting the social media, because the people who were not stocking up and everything just before, they're now getting ready and they're hearing about it. And they're going, "What? I have to have a script? I didn't hear about that. I've had my head under a rock for the last 6 months. So I didn't know anything about that."
Or I had a liter bottle of sitting in my freezer for that, and that's the other side of it as well. Like that we remain, once that law came in, that meant that you need to have a prescription for what you currently hold.
Yes.
So if you were doing the what do you call it? Armageddon Horden. Yeah, that's right. That you don't have a prescription for the 400 liters that you've got sitting in your freezer. That will also be an interesting situation. The moment that someone effectively, if that ever happens, gets pinged for possession as well. So I think
the easiest way to think about it, this is maybe a little risque for American viewers, but we had a situation in Australia where things went really bad on one day, and the entire country went, "That's it. We've had enough. No more guns." And we outlawed huge classes of weapons, no longer allowed in this country. We had an amnesty period. We have to give them back, and that was it. That was it. And after
they even
that
did
point,
the buyback scheme.
yeah. And after that point, it was done, and we moved on. That was the new law as opposed to the old law. Just because you bought your gun 5 years before that law, and it's now 5 years past that law, doesn't mean your gun. Well, I got it before the law changed, so I'm okay.
It's not grandfathered.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not grandfathered in. It's now fucking illegal. You're not covered unless you have, certain specific legal reasons. Hunters are allowed to have shotguns, but they're not allowed to or farmers are allowed to have shotguns because of vermin, but they're not allowed to have semi-automatic machine guns. Yeah, you're not allowed to have a silencer. You're not allowed to be walking around your farm with a scope and a sniper's rifle, You can't do that in this country. Those things are illegal. It's not covered no matter what. And it's a similar thing with this. Just because you bought it before October 1st and you've got 3 fridges with locks on them running full time in your garage with, 78 liters of nicotine does not mean that you're legally allowed to have that. You are now... even if you never, if that was just for you, I'm done. I have nicotine for the rest of my life. I'm sorry, that's a distribution charge, just because you have too much, and you don't have any legal standing.
I've never been to Australia, but I imagine it works a lot in the same way with the courts. Your ignorance of the law doesn't abdicate you from the effect of breaking any law. You know what I mean? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
that's too bad. You've had, like Steve said, if it's been 5 years, you've had 5 years to learn it.
Yeah.
And if you're one of those people that do these things, you travel in the circles of people that know it. You know what I mean?
At this point, the TGA's opinion is going to be the law passed 2 months ago. We've done ads about it. There's been talk about it. We know the vape shows have been talking about it.
I've seen more ads for the Australia stuff than I've seen of any American advocacy whatsoever.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money on it, didn't they? That's always a sponsored post, is that one TGA one that's got 3,500 comments on it. Marketing gone wrong. Just to reiterate that as well, on Sunday night, Steve, we have Dr. Colin Mendelsohn on to discuss his new literature, his new book, but I'm sure there's going to be a fair bit of chat about nicotine laws at TGA and the shit fuckery that's going on with that. So Sunday night, the Aussie Vape Show, Australian time, but if not, catch the replay crew because, like we've said many times before, thank you, Chris Vandal. The link there is for Colin Mendelssohn's book, which will be out literally a couple of days after that. The other side of it is that most of that information will be applicable to people all around the world from the content that he has said that is in there, even though it will be a little bit Australian-centric, I should say. There will be a lot of things there, so well worth watching. Yeah, I'm excited about it actually. Very, very excited. We've said honestly, how what an upstanding human Colin is, but this is kind of a bit the first of its kind. But stuff like this, if it is what it is, I'm glad he's doing it. I'm glad it's coming from him, is what I mean to say.
Yes.
That's the one good thing. Yeah.
There's a lot of books out there about quitting smoking. I think was you always talking about with the app?
Yeah.
It was last week with that app. It's like there's a lot of people trying to take advantage. There's always has been. There's like hypnotizing and all sorts of weird quit methods in books, and most of them have been written by people who haven't actually done the work. They haven't quit. On one hand, they haven't been smokers or anything like that. Not that Colin is, but they also haven't done the research or the science as to see what does work. The best thing about Colin is that he's actually looked at the world and he's seen what people are doing, and then he's followed the science around what he's seen that works. I mean, at some point there he's been into this field since long before vaping existed. He was a quit smoking or a cessation specialist, medical cessation specialist for a long time. And he somewhere along the line, someone's come up to him and said, "Yeah, I quit smoking, and it was this." And his eyes have peaked. Oh, what is that? How does that work? What does it make you feel like? Where do you get it? Are there other people I can talk to? And he started to get interested and just open to the possibility. Whereas, the glances of the world are just like, well, I didn't make that. I didn't invent that. I didn't write that book. Can't be real.
Yeah.
Nothing but respect for Colin.
Interesting. I'm not sure where it was. Was it Son of Liberty or one other show? He was talking about his journey and how he got into it, and then went to Europe and went to go and speak to the leading people out there, and then so he did his homework well before many people. Yeah. We're at that time, gentlemen. But
already?
Yeah.
We've only been talking for 10 minutes.
Well, kinda.
Really?
A group of 10 minutes. Yeah.
I'm depressed now. I want to hang out more. You guys in chat, I haven't even said hi yet. Cat. Cats are self-cleaning.
They are self-cleaning.
I don't know. I don't have one.
Yeah. She likes to clean herself all over my bathroom mat, if you know what I mean. That's...
Meow.
Yeah. Meow. Awesome. Coming up this week, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'll go first. We're not having a show this week. It's Thanksgiving, and I'm working on Friday, but we'll be back the week after. Also, shout out to the awesome people that's a couple of them here, and then the people on Friday. We've sold like 6 items off the Friday Fallout store in the past week and a half now.
Woohoo!
You guys help pay for this green screen, but you can't tell. That's pretty smooth, right?
It's very good.
I wanted to ask you, do you have lights on your green screen?
Not anything direct on it. All I've got is my little ring lights on me, and then one pointed at the roof. But it reflects pretty well.
Yeah, that's working really well.
Yeah, I was fucking around with it last week before we went live and stuff, and I didn't realize that I mirrored my image, so that everything in the background was faced the wrong way. But then after we were pre-showing here, and I was like, oh, I'll switch it back. I don't like the other way, it's not mirrored, so it's always going to be backward stuff unless I go in and change some stuff. But we're going to be back the week after week after this Friday. We'll be back for I don't know about, I can't figure out the fucking changing temperatures with this colors though, man, with the lighting. I have no.
I've been trying to figure that out. Why half the time you're pink and half the time you're blue? Nope, there you go.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. Besides my new haircut, we won't be live. That's all we got going on.
Awesome.
As for me, I'll be hard at work tomorrow cutting and filming a new video for this and for this, because I did a mech. I started the week with a mech, and I'm going to end it with pod systems just because cover all bases, I guess.
The hammer of pods.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is actually really nice. Seriously impressed with the Caliburns. I saw a Facebook post and I lost it. When you pick up your phone and you're going through it, and you see something and you've already started refreshing. It's like it's down there somewhere. Couldn't find it again. It was in a vape group, and it was, how do you use a Caliburn? That was the question.
No vape shaming.
I'm not vape shaming. I'm just like, how can you not figure out how to use it? It's written on the box.
Yeah, that's the wrong end. Yeah.
Hey.
Nose drips, do it. I dare you. Yeah. Oh, you did. That's the way.
Now we're birds.
Yeah, that's the way to close out a show.
Also,
911.
Thursday, I'll be back doing my normal Thursday morning coffee stream. Come join me, hang out. We'll talk about butt plugs, I guess, whatever you bring up instead. And of course, Sunday, Aussie Vape Show, Colin Mendelson. Be there. It will be entertaining. It will be fun. Most of all, it will be informative. Mm-hmm. That is literally my week.
Awesome. Well, as always, big thank you to you at home. for joining in, and we will see you next week. We will see you on the other streams, on the Intergoogles, and on the cyber webs. So, have an amazing week. Drink more water. Hug those people you love. Brush your teeth. Fellas, thank you very much. And we'll see you next week. We will.
Hug your teeth and brush the people you love.
That's right. Yep.
Diabetes.
Diabetes. See you later, folks.